Welcome back to my channel where I talk about beauty, envy, and featureism, the social dynamics that shape how people treat you when your face, body, hair texture, or skin tone aligns with the American standard of beauty. And with your visual advantage, you probably experience things that most people don't fully understand or even acknowledge. Today, I want to talk about why being sexy doesn't guarantee love. Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson breaking up is having the internet in a frenzy right now. But beneath all of it is a real conversation that deserves to be spoken about in terms of lookism, boundaries, and what actually sustains a real relationship. And so I think Megan is a beautiful woman. She's tall, southern, and charismatic. But lately, the creative direction around her image have shifted into something that feels more body-centered than talent-centered. Her creative direction just gives this reflection of, if you're sexy, your body looks good, everything else will follow. But we all know in reality, looks can help in a lot of areas, but in some areas, looks do not work. And because I'm a high vibrational woman, I totally know this. As a high vibrational woman, I've always believed that if your success depends on constantly showing your body, then you're not really as talented and empowered as you may seem. Women deserve love because women are powerful, spiritual, intuitive beings. One of the things I'm noticing on a lot of Twitter posts is that people are blaming Klay Thompson, but we know in relationships require accountability. People are online quick to say Klay messed up, which I believe that's the truth. But groupthink people normally think like this. They don't look at the bigger picture. And this is why a lot of things in society are never solved. But really in relationships, we know that either it's one person or the other person. It's never as simple as the man is wrong. We have to look at the whole dynamic. So we live in a culture where people don't think for themselves anymore. They follow whatever is popular. And when it comes to relationship, truth requires accountability from both people. The world is programmed to blame the man instantly in relationships, but accountability is what actually evolves society. So no matter how much the Matrix tries to shape our thinking, God's spirit always redirects the truth back into the light. That's why each year as humans, we always get a reality check, right? Because we think our thoughts are higher than we assume. Because there's a lot of factors that cause high evolvement when it comes to one's thinking. And with the changes that's taking place in the world, spiritual divine direction is not waiting for humans. And if humans do not evolve properly in these seasons, humans will constantly continue to make the same cycle of mistakes over and over. So when Megan first came out with Klay Thompson, they looked like a beautiful couple. I remember the first picture I seen was her on the red carpet with him. And she had on very long nails. I did not like that. But she did post videos of her just revealing herself on Instagram with Klay Thompson in the room with her. She would post pictures of her in her thong and her twerking. And to me, if you're in a relationship with a guy and you're doing that as a woman, I do not think that is cute, because there should be private moments such as you being half naked around your boyfriend. I feel like those are moments you need to keep between you and your man. And a sexual persona really rarely sustains a relationship. It might attract attention, it might create fantasy, but it does not build devotion. It does not build strong foundation of commitment. And that's why so many men date women who are publicly sexualized, but don't stay with them long term. You know, man will date a woman who, yeah, I want to have sex with her, but he don't end up staying with her long term. And so it's not because the woman isn't beautiful. It's because beauty alone doesn't teach a man anything. And this is because when I was raised as a Christian in my home, the elders would talk about what creates a strong relationship. And majority of the time, men naturally crave privacy, peace, growth, discipline, and a woman who challenges them to evolve in their relationship. So a sexual persona doesn't create that. A spiritual presence does. Because I mean, high vibrations, high consciousness, high awareness, all goes back to the creator. That's why I said a spiritual presence is the one that really helps a man have that discipline when he's in a relationship. And normally Hollywood relationships fail because a lot of the time their relationships have no real boundaries. And like in celebrity culture, the woman dress extremely revealing. The man go outside instead of staying home. Open relationships, privacy is non-existent, and it just causes a lot of damage to keeping that foundation of a relationship protected. So women must understand, you know, when they enter a relationship, it's also important for them to transform who they are. Because once you get in a relationship, you cannot be bouncing your booty on Instagram with a thong on and twerking. That is not appropriate when you are in a relationship with your man. And a man must transform too. They must commit, they must lead, they must be disciplined, because this is what's going to bring that protective covering into the relationship. And the real conclusion is being sexy isn't the problem, but it's not the foundation. A woman being sexy is not the issue. A woman having a nice body is not the issue. The issue is believing that sex appeal alone can sustain love, loyalty, or a long-term relationship. Lookism teaches us that beauty opens doors, but it doesn't keep them open. And we know that relationships require a factor of a lot of things in order to keep that relationship strong. Those things cannot be replaced by a sexual persona, no matter how beautiful the woman is.